we have a quorum?
We do. Yep.
All perfect. All right. Call to order. Approval of the June minutes. We have not had a meeting in July.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. Visitors' comments.
We have no visitors.
Great.
It's a welcoming statement.
We don't get it together. All right, old business, rooftop lighting update.
So Maury and Red Lemore's business per bill said they were interested, so both have been contacted to set up quote dates.
Okay.
So obviously we have budgeted one. You have extra money in the fund balance, so we can
Right.
always add to it, but we
Right.
bring the quotes back here since it's a 50-50 and
Right, okay.
district.
So the business pays for it? or-
Business pay, it's a 50-50.
Okay.
So
Is your building lit? You ever look?
You ever hear at night?
I don't think it's lit.
where's your building at?
Or perennial is.
It is perennials. lit.
Perennial and,
All of you?
More.
Got it. The next on, no, it was just the Olive and Oak building that was just got rent. So the Parkmore is not yet in that. Yeah,
So that would be the next one we would probably, I mean, I hate to
We
do
can add
that as well, too, so.
we can put that if you want.
Okay, all right.
Who's the appropriate contact? So I can.
Who's your landlord?
It's,
Camden?
Camden, yeah.
Is it, it's not
JHC.
Rob, it's John, isn't it? I think John is
I don't know
managing.
which one. Yeah, I can get the contacts. The business office is in Kirkwood.
Okay, yeah, just connect with me. I'll shoot you an email and we can.
So rooftop lighting, can I add?
Absolutely.
We need replacement light bulbs. A lot of the older strands have gotten dim, darker, out. And you can't, these new bulbs are brighter. So you can't just replace 10 or 5 bulbs. You almost got to do the entire strand.
It drives my wife and daughter crazy that they're different.
Yes. Well, it drives me crazy.
Surrounded by uniforms here.
So I found a source. I ordered 100 of them. We'll see how they look because they are quite a bit brighter, but I think they're the same brightness as the new lights are
Okay.
that are going up in the district. I think 10 years ago, they used a different manufacturer.
Well, they didn't use LED at first.
Ours are, the earlies were LED, but they were a dimmer.
Right.
LED.
Not as
And then
good.
over the years, they've faded with sunlight,
Right.
So I've got 100. If that's a good source, we can either have the
Okay.
district buy 500, because it'll be a lot of light bulbs.
Right. Well, at a certain point, you have to look at, is the strand just easier to replace? I believe, right? I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, I would say it's easier to just replace the light bulbs than the strand because you've got to reattach. the
Right,
strand every-
they're not exactly the exact distance, but there is a little loop up there on them. They're not super tight.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, those strands eventually get corroded and stuff too. So
Mhm.
that's wwhere you look, if you're replacing if you're replacing all the bulbs in the strand, it would probably be better, in my opinion, what little I know about it. Would be, because I know we have problems with corrosion getting down in there and stuff like that. And we just replace some bulbs and all of a sudden then so that's something we need to.
I think though, the bulbs are $1.02 each. So I think you find the strand and that's an additional cost. I actually don't think you'd save money if you bought the strand together with the bulbs. I don't think they package them that way. I think the bulbs are $1.02.
Yeah, so the strands are all separate.
Okay, oh, that's
So,
so.
but that said, I mean, what you brought up, Ron, is valid. I mean, John Barr down in Old Orchard, they just had this conversation because John was like, what, had 3 years?
Yeah.
3-4 years, and his strand is already shot.
Mhm.
And so he's of the mind, like, is it even really worth reinvesting this money on the lighting on the top?
Mhm.
So that's not to say what Old Webster has to do, but Old Orchard's having that conversation, like, do we continue with the program, for reinvestment like that?
But their program is different. They pay 100%.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
So they're also talking about going to 50-50 because of this issue.
Okay, right. Well, it's one of those things that, I don't know, when they're lit, I think it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know that I don't get quite as upset when I see a couple dim bulbs. Now, when there's 5 out in a row, I don't like that.
Mhm.
I know there's occasional ones out and stuff like that, but I don't, personally, that's me. So let's, I guess if you've got those bulbs coming,
They're coming, yeah, I'll try them out
Okay.
on a couple of our buildings, see how they look.
okay, all right, sounds great.
I think they're too bright. Personally, I wish they were dimmer like the older ones. They're more accent lighting. And like the older ones, these are more primary lighting. They're pretty bright
So there's different,
temperatures.
yeah, exactly, right. And if you're getting the bright white, the high
And these are
CRI.
warm. They're the
Warm, okay,
same,
they're warm.
they're the same color temperature,
Okay,
but they're brighter in intensity or,
Okay.
lumens.
right, okay. And I'm sure over the years they've improved LED lights.
That's
tremendously.
what's happened.
Right, yeah, especially those little bulbs. They're cutting edge technology when we started. Probably.
Just real quick on that, has anyone noticed Olive and Oak a major difference between the other buildings? Dan, I know we've talked about it, so you probably have, but.
Well, it's a C7 versus a C9 too, which is a size difference. I don't notice that it's a difference in size. The brightness is brighter, like the newer bulbs.
Yeah.
But it being a C7 versus a C9, I don't, since buildings are separate,
Mhm.
Exactly.
I don't think you have the direct comparison. So I think it's okay.
I don't know, I gotta tell you, Friday after the gazebo series, and I was in Old Orchard. And everything was lit up, because they've got the lights, every patio was full, so then I drove down to Old Webster, it was the same thing. All the lights were up, all the patios are full, it was really cool.
Yeah, I don't want to dish the lighting. I like it. So, okay, we'll try out those bulbs and then we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
On-street parking.
This is the worst business in the world when it comes to on-street parking. No, we'll have an ordinance going to council.
Okay.
With, again, the 15-minute spots that we discussed. Like out on the block area, we'll create a 15-minute spot over by Panera, a couple 15-minute spots
Okay,
in restaurant zones.
right,
Also in Old Orchard have a couple that are going to be that way. And then if other businesses want, in the email that will be going out to all the businesses, explaining this, if other businesses want other 15-minute spots and such, that the council will rely on, if they're in a business district, the advice and recommendation of business district. So,
Okay.
So i.e., if Panera wants, 3, I'm just gonna use them, right, 3 spots for quick pickups, that, they're gonna have to come here and make a case, and we'll discuss this with the impacted parties together, if that makes sense.
okay. Stacy.
We have in general, certainly turned to Officer O'Toole, but I have experienced less of an issue with, people, it seems like, while those spots are, people are hanging their signs out, it doesn't seem like parking is run out in most days and ways, so.
Is this gonna work?
I can move if you need Stacy here. Got a full room, this is great.
So, in going on back to on the parking. A restaurant or two that have been, coning off their 3 to 4 sections every day. What's happening in that aspect?
So we've had individual conversations with those restaurants
Right.
that we will enforce.
Okay,
We have not had the police have those conversations, but a
right,
business development side of conversation.
okay,
But once that email comes out, we've said that essentially September 1, there's no more.
okay,
So
all right,
that's,
okay.
I didn't want to promise enforcement because I know the police are working
Sure.
different zones in different ways. But
Right,
it's,
right, well, it's just one of those things,
they haven't stopped after our conversation. That's what I've noticed.
Right, well, I've
Yeah.
watched,
Yeah.
the other day, I was eating in another restaurant on a patio, and it's like a VIP parking spot, it's not a pickup spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the cars park there and they stay.
Yeah.
It's not like they need 4 spots to come in and pick up, so, I mean, so. Okay, Jazz and Blues update.
Well, everything is going really well.
There's an event.
We should
Yeah.
we should have enough money.
We have enough money. We got I've got 90% of the infrastructure locked in. So to, Eric and for a couple of minor things. And we've got the music lined up.
T-shirts ordered, programs planned to be designed and
Volunteers.
posters. I think volunteers are gonna be fine. I think we're finding that there are a lot of people out there that want to get involved back like it was normal. And then And the art fair had a very good turnout for their volunteers, and we're using their list as well to pitch to.
Okay,
So I feel good about most things of the festival. Really.
okay,
And we're having a special Friday night concert at the church, Webster Presbyterian Church. So we're sort of recognizing this being our 20th annual 20th Jazz Fest. So it's in a bigger way. This is going to be a special festival. So if you are wanting to do something on Friday night in your businesses, be sure to get out to the trade association. That Friday night will have people here for
Okay.
music.
all right, and so so what's gonna happen, I mean, what time is that gonna start?
7:30.
7:30 till 9.
Mhm. So people can have dinner and then go to a show.
Okay, all right, it's just gonna be in the parking lot there?
No, it's gonna be in the church.
Oh, in the church.
In the church, it's gonna be Carol Beth's crew and her crew. Doing this special tribute to.
Kind of the
Jazz
music
concert.
of the music of Missouri, jazz and blues music of Missouri,
Okay.
of our region.
Okay, any other questions about the Jazz Fest? Benches and kiosk.
I don't have the quotes for you today, sorry.
Got it.
But I have talked with Public Works
Mhm,
and Parks. They're ordering, there's some new park bench orders going in.
okay,
So I anticipate that they're probably gonna do that in November, but obviously with the holiday season, we don't want to be swapping benches in and out and potentially having them out of place
right,
during the holiday season.
Right.
That post Christmas, we would turn around and pull benches to do the
the swap.
swaps and reconstruct, so.
Okay.
They ended up ordering extra, so we may actually, if you like any of the park benches that have been ordered, the metal ones, Stacy, that you talked about.
I like the metal one.
So if they may have extra ones of those, then they
Okay.
ordered extra, so we may be able to, if you want them, just simply take it out of your budget for those 3 or 4, and move them into inventory, so. That also gives us time. Our public works team is strapped, so, time to rebuild benches.
Right, yeah,
So,
you lose your summer help, just like
exactly.
all the businesses.
Exactly, yes, yes.
Okay. Oktoberfest, funding budget.
Yeah, I just got the email from Lisa the other night. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just now looking at it, so. mhm. It looks like last year we spent $3,563 with the estimated to do $5,750 this year based on costs going up, I guess, because printing went up 30%. So all of our maps, posters, all went up 30%. And then we only actually had one business get reimbursed last year, turn in their reimbursement.
They turned in their reimbursement?
Yeah, so we offered $100 reimbursement to any business that
Had music.
had music, but nobody turned in reimbursements, which is great. Like I didn't turn it in.
Mhm.
Like it was a really successful day for us. So anyway, so I kind of think that number might go up now that we're kind of talking about that a little bit more, because that was just like added on the back end as like,
Kind of a
think-
last minute thing.
yeah, it was like a last minute thing.
Mhm.
This year we're talking about it a little bit more, so. I honestly don't really know how much to go in for and ask right now, while we're still kind of reaching out to everybody about it. I still feel like we're at the beginning phases of it.
Okay.
So do I need to be asking for money today, or can we wait till after the event and go in and ask for some money back? I mean, what do you recommend?
What do we have for the budget on that?
On October.
2,000 is what we discussed based off not coming in with a budget.
That's what we discussed last month.
Yeah.
Yes, or June.
Yeah, but here's the deal too, is that I'm looking at this and it's not a big deal, but there is an event Do we, is this true, is this right? This one, this is bench admin. For just the Oktoberfest?
Yes.
Oh, it is, okay. So we kind of need to, I need a little bit more time, so maybe I can send out an email with the request, would that work, Ryan?
I guess, yeah, well, I guess you can make sure and get maybe some hard numbers next time. I don't have the budget in front of me for some reason. Draft.
You're looking for what we had put in. for
What we
that?
had officially put in, yeah, I mean, we. Yeah, the draft, we put in the draft I have for some stupid reason, I don't have anything.
See if I can find it out here. This is when you're all gonna watch and see if Eric knows where his stuff is at. So. This is the budget document we worked with. We had it built in. It wasn't listed off as a new item,
Okay.
so we had it built into the 30,000 that we had. For years have had, we use your advertising line item as the, where your sponsorship support, so like
Right.
the old Webster trade.
Right, but we have, I'm just saying, I mean, everything is going up, and we have,
Sure.
we're giving Jazz Festival a
Yeah.
bit more, right? I mean, everything is, so we kind of need to look at it.
So let me, let me just go back, so like, if you look at last year.
We haven't used some in the last couple of years either, at
Right.
certain times that we had budgeted.
Sure.
They get kicked down the road too, so.
Mhm. I mean, I guess I should just go off of what the estimated is and go after that number, and then if we spend less, great.
Well, you know what your printing is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, so that's.
Yeah, it's more the reimbursements that kind of make me nervous,
Mhm.
just because only one business requested reimbursement.
Well, can we cap it? I mean, how many performers are there gonna be? I mean,
Right.
can we say the first?
Well,
10
considering
businesses
that
or-
one business.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
really
it's a
think it's gonna be like 4 businesses
Yeah,
this
I don't
year,
think it's too big a deal.
but it's $100 per reimbursement, so I hate to just like, I'd hate for us to get blindsided by it.
Right, well, do we need to even offer it at this, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to say like you.
I think
and I'm not-
so,
I'm just-
yes.
okay, you
I really
yes?
think it is, I really think it helps motivate businesses to reach out and get a band in their business, which is the whole point of this.
It's just to have bands.
Just have bands, Oktoberfest, jumping from business to business.
I thought in the past, we had decided this group is not part of the reimbursement, only do the trade associations who does the reimbursement. And that is just out of whatever line item budget that we approve.
Okay, so we can't go after a reimbursement. We just have to get something
Well,
approved for the
The
event.
taxing district have to give more to the trade association.
Right.
Yeah,
So the request would go to the trade, and then the payment could come from taxing.
okay,
The Payment has to come from trade.
Payment from taxing to trade, and then
Right.
trade makes.
So essentially, we view the business district is viewed as a sponsor to the
Right.
trade association event. So the trade association handles all the reimbursements and such. So it's really a matter of how much sponsorship
yes.
you're asking for, right? And
And you won't know that till afterwards, so you can come back and
Yeah, 'cause it's
to the
such a
group.
new event, but what can I just, right now we have 2,000 approved from the taxing.
Is it the second or
It's
third year?
budgeted.
It's the third year, right? It'd be
Third year,
Right.
yep. And with the 30% increase, it went from last year, $3,563 is what the taxing was approved. Well, actually, the taxing approved 5,000 last year, but we only received $3,563.
Okay.
So I guess this year with that 30% increase, we're estimated to have to ask for $5,750 is what Lisa figured.
Okay.
Right now we have 2,000 approved, so I guess what I'm asking for is another $3,750 approved.
we had built in 5. So that number 5 from last year is what's built into the
Okay,
budget.
right, okay. All right, so you just need another $1,000, basically, $750.
At this point, what I would say is, I'll make a motion for $5,000 for the Oktoberfest. And if it comes over that, we'll discuss it at the
Next
October
meeting.
meeting.
I will say that I think this is the last year that we should do this without sponsorship. So next year I'm gonna go after sponsors for it.
I second.
I'll second it. There you go.
Yeah.
All in favor?
All right,
Opposed?
we'd also like $1,000 for printing. The directory went up because of paper,
Okay. And what is that for?
because the printing went up.
I understand, but what?
The directory that went to all of Webster U and
The trade is.
That already got in
Yes.
Webster Kirkwood Times this week?
Yes.
Yes.
They got it.
Yes.
Okay,
And you will
so,
be getting some this week also.
okay, all right. Okay.
I'm not gonna make the motion.
I motion. I'm not gonna give me $1,000 to the trade association. Cover the cost.
Second, I'll second it.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All approved,
I,
opposed?
Yeah, all right, stop that one.
So
Mhm.
just real quick on that. So it's trade associations, both of those, correct?
Yes,
Yes,
So you'll have Lisa send me an invoice.
And invoice.
yep,
So. for both of
Lisa
those.
invoice.
Yeah, Thank you. Gotta make it good for the auditors.
Something's gotta go down at some point, right?
Mm.
I just.
The morale. Volunteer numbers, the ability to.
I just got an email this morning for more paper increases. Another 5% from.
Yep.
Nina Paper Company across the board and it was, for September 1.
Mhm.
And they had a 7% increase in July. They're doing a 5 or 7% increase every other month. It's unreal.
Gotta quit printing.
That's what will happen. He'll price themselves out of it.
Oh, got it.
Joe's like, I'm not saying that out loud.
Yeah, really.
All right, new business, Webster Kirkwood Holiday Times ad package.
I will share my screen because why not? Let's have more things to spend money on. So Webster Kirkwood Times has reached out, I'll move this around so you can all see it. So holiday package, they are the same thing we did last year. This is where the district buys the full page and then businesses buy little pieces. I'll show you that in a second. They are looking at 2,500, same as last year, 4 issues.
Didn't go up. Thank you.
Didn't go up, that didn't go up, and this on the screen is what they're talking about, this, if you remember. Has that and this look right there, you can see the businesses pay, I think it's $95 to go, have their little square in the page,
Mhm.
so. That's what they're offering, same price, and I just, obviously Jenny Starkey will take care of it for us, but wanted to come back to the district and make sure it's built in your budget.
Right, it's
Make
already
sure-
built in. We
Yeah, you
have
just
done
wanna,
that, right.
that you wanna do it, so.
Right.
I'm assuming you do, but I
We
wanted
do,
to ask,
yeah.
yeah.
So we don't even need to vote on this
Nope.
because it's already in our.
Yeah,
budget, right?
that's right.
So if anybody has any opposition or speak up now, I guess.
Cool.
All right.
Next thing that needs to be kind of discussed is banners for the Oktoberfest and the Christmas open house.
Talking whole banners or across the street?
Across the street.
Across the street.
Across the street.
At least one of each need to be replaced, and I believe actually on the Christmas open house. There needs to be 2 Christmas open house banners need redesign. Or an updated design, I believe. But the one of each banner was for sure destroyed last year. And people thought I had the Oktoberfest banner. I do not. So we're looking for that. I just determined that I did not have it last night. I have a winter market banner. But so. And the banners tend to run roughly $800 to $900.
I think we definitely need them for the Christmas open house. We need it for Oktoberfest. Yeah, I just don't, I'm just, feel like this meeting's like. Just throw money out. It's like, a little conservative in my.
I mean, I think the over the street banners add to like our community, but. Need.
Where is last year's banner?
The one, I don't know, John, sorry, might have it.
So we have one, but not two, is that it?
One was completely destroyed by the wind
Of Oktoberfest?
on Oktoberfest. For sure. I mean, I know for a fact that, and I know for a fact, one of the Christmas banners was totally shredded up. But I think the second Christmas banner was in poor shape.
So not to get in the middle of differing entities, just so I know historically, has that been a district? The banners, or are these trade association events that they bought the banners for, and just how in the past?
They're all trade association events,
Right.
but they're the district funds. I mean, trade doesn't have any money, so.
Okay.
Basically, that's kind of how
Got it,
it works. They
okay.
come to us and ask for that or whatever, so.
If you look at it, the Oktoberfest, like the open house the next year, where we want to charge people like we do for open house, that might be contributing to your decision about.
Brand's right. I motion that we provide banners for these
If
two.
you're gonna
events.
ask for money from all the businesses. If you want to treat it like it's an open house event, all the time.
Good point. So what do we have to do? Make a motion?
You already made the motion?
Yep.
So-
I second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
So just want to be, I want to be clear, 2 Christmas open houses and 1 Oktober,
I'm saying figure 3 band.
right? And so I didn't hear an amount number, but so it's,
So it's gonna be
59 per.
$2,700.
yeah. I mean, it's,
Banner.
we would say in the city, it's a sum sufficient. So I mean, you guys want 3 banners, the cost of those 3 banners is what it is. We figure it out, put it in your budget.
correct.
So Joe made a motion for 3 banners. We'll
No,
make sure
Joe
I get
did
this
not.
right.
Stacy.
Stacy.
Joe seconded.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
We are just spending money today. What else can we ask for?
I don't know if you want to ask for any more today. That candles get pretty low when we get some more. Yeah. I was gonna say, the chairman's gonna throw the gavel down at the other end of the table and be like, no more money.
That's fine. I don't mind. I mean,
Give it your hard
we have a large, in the,
It's the time of year.
So.
We want to keep attracting new business. This is how you do it.
I tell you, I had somebody that's not even a brick and mortar wants to join the trade association, and there's lots, I get requests all the time to be a part of this.
They have $1,000 capital fund that they can put into the.
They can't be a part of it, can they?
No,
No,
I'm just saying,
yeah, they want to be. Well, everybody
success
wants to
breeds,
be.
everybody wants to be a part of it.
All right. So, Eric, maybe next, meeting, we could get a
Budget.
new budget
Yeah.
update, just so I know what you.
Well, and
what we
actually
just did.
next meeting is a good, because your first quarter will be done and theoretically your first quarter revenue should start showing up.
Okay.
So, yeah, right now, literally, we've had no revenue. The way it goes through the county, it takes forever to get to us. So you'd be like, why are we spending all that money? We haven't gotten any money in. So
Well, basically, we don't get anybody until January.
your big money comes in January.
Okay, all right, BDC update.
I got the
Oh,
new
yes.
business. Is this where I put in a new item?
No, there is no new, I'm sorry, there's no new business on the
Not this
agenda.
meeting.
I'm sorry.
What do you say?
How
How much money do you want, Dan?
I'm not gonna spend money.
Okay,
Can I say something?
sure.
Okay, I think we need to address our sidewalks and these trenching companies that are coming around and marking them for utilities and then coring them and taking out sections and it doesn't match. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, no, it pisses me
Yeah,
off.
they're not supposed to do that.
I-
They are not supposed to do that.
Well, here's my thinking is if they're allowed to do that, and Eric can tell us that. If they're allowed to do that, they need to come back in within 30 days and replace sidewalk pieces and also clean the sidewalks of the markings. I mean, if we went out with spray paint, we'd be in jail, right? It'd be a criminal offense, yet these guys come around and they spray everything, and then they get it wrong, and then they overspray it with the correction line and respray the right line, and it's 6 months before that's gone. And I really think all you guys work hard in your businesses to present your merchandise well, and people are walking over this construction zone for months and months.
And it's been a problem forever. I mean, it never ends.
Well,
It
I got a proposal.
Mhm.
So why can't the city, when they do it, do they come in for permitting, or is that an automatic? Like they have automatic?
They have to register, but they have right of way access by state law, so.
So right away,
Yeah.
and any communication company does, or
Yeah.
only
If they give-
AT&T?
I mean, there's certain right of ways that pay for our right of way access, have a franchise fee, but under state law, like now, it's all been changing, and municipalities have actually been losing power. Because the utilities have gone to Jeff City and essentially gained more right of way preemption, so that they can use right of way, so.
So they pay no permitting fees to do that?
Not in a major fee in any way. It's not like a construction for permitting fee. There may be, I can't say for all of them, because some of them still have old.
If we
agreements
could
with
get them to put down a deposit,
Sure.
$5,000, that they have to either come in and clean that up, or we use that money for the city to clean it up.
Some size of the holes, they do have to put a deposit. So if they open up a sidewalk completely, there's a whole deposit there and all such, but the coring, I don't believe they need a permit to do, so.
Yeah.
But they are
Are they responsible to fill them?
absolutely, it's to be restored back. So we have the Public Works Inspector, Paul Rassinello, so much like the concrete issue you brought up, he does go back and test colors of concrete and such. The difference is that it's on them to tell us when it's done, and this is what right-of-way contractors will do, right, is they're gonna put this in, but they may need 6 months and they're gonna come back and finish it, right? So that project is never done,
Right, exactly.
right? I mean, that's the ultimate issue that comes on. And I just don't know, sitting here today, what our powers are in that case versus, again, Jeff City, it's happening in every state in America. Utilities have gone to the state regulators and gained more power over the locals to prevent what they call the patchwork quilt of regulations, so.
Yeah, it was-
So we can look at it, certainly.
I
I'm
would
just saying,
like,
I
I
just
would
don't
like
know.
to look into what power the city has over these contractors in requiring the cleanup and a replacement within a timely amount, not just color. We talked there, they miscolored one large area, which they're gonna come back and tear out and replace. But it's not just color, it's
Right.
also just coming in
Yeah.
through power washing.
Yeah.
The utility markings and other dirt and other things that,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, power washing those bright pink lines after
Yeah.
they're done. And then, yeah,
They don't have character and flavor to the.
it's not the way the flavor we want.
It's like it doesn't look good.
Well, we may have, I mean, the general idea is that there is limited ability, but there's always, I mean, this is not a clear case law where this is the answer and this is off limits, right? I mean, it's this loopholes and,
Well,
so
either,
Neil can start looking at that.
either we own the sidewalks, the business of the property owners, or the city owns it. I think the building owners own the property, own the sidewalks. Giving right away to the city use, I think, because we pay for replacement of sidewalks. So it's damaged my property.
Mhm.
That's, I mean, do I take an individual case?
I don't know. I'd
Let's
have to look at
let's
it.
look into that,
Yeah,
because I'm happy
yeah.
to do that.
And then like this last little bit where they went around coring everything,
Mhm.
they filled 2/3 of the holes. But not, if you go right at the corner of Gore and Lockwood there,
Mhm.
and that's over by CJ Muggs, North Gore. There's still a couple holes there. I'm just like looking like, is that gonna be a sinkhole in a year or two? Is that gonna be a giant, huge pothole that nobody ever fills? And so, but you said, I understand how you're kind of like, oh, we're not done yet. Well, it'd be nice to know a completion
Right.
date, they filled most of them. It's just like that.
Well, there were two companies. There was one called Ozark Trenching, I think Ozark, and then ABD did it. The AT&T's running, and then there's a competitor to AT&T
Okay.
running fiber in our district.
Okay.
So that's part of it, is one company thought the other company it was their hole and they didn't fill it. Could be that. You're talking about the ones in the asphalt, aren't you?
Yeah, right in the middle of the road.
Mhm.
I mean, I can just see it it's a hole and it's just gonna get water,
I think that was
rain, and it's
Ozark
gonna get
that did
bigger
that.
and bigger. So.
Is there any hazard on the sidewalks? I'm not really, I mean, that's why I would
Oh,
think
yeah.
you could say that it's not ADA compliant and
Yeah,
There's a
Well,
safety issue.
ADA compliance is different there too, right? I mean, you dump gravel down that hole and ADA compliance. is fine.
compliant.
Most of our sidewalks under current ADA are
Not.
compliant. I mean, we're not wide enough sidewalk. Right? I mean, that's the ultimate reality is if we were going to get to a complete street and ADA compliant, we're gonna take about 6 feet of everyone's storefront to, Get everything-
Our parking
or the
spaces.
parking lanes that have to go. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there'd be no sidewalk dining, no
Mhm.
whatever.
Well, let's look into that. If you.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'd be
Absolutely.
glad- happy to
Yeah,
work
and
with you.
I brought it up to Public Works, so I mean, obviously, we don't want trip hazards, so they were going out to, and I saw some holes filled, but we'll double check on things.
They're filled with gravel.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we're gonna put in, right, because it's, they may still be going, right, we also, if we repave it,
I understand.
and,
Well, I don't think it's the city's, is it the city's responsibility to repave it?
it's not, it's
Right,
theirs,
right,
right, but
different.
that's,
Right.
we obviously don't want a trip hazard.
Right.
Yeah,
We're
because
gonna
what
be-
does happen if somebody trips?
Well, we'll get sued.
Yeah, the city.
Webster gets sued,
Yeah.
even if it's
You
in
guys
front
will
of
get sued.
another business or
Yeah.
building owners.
Sidewalk, we'll get sued. Now,
Both building
the
owner.
building owner will
and the
get,
city.
Yeah, that's
then
the
there'll be that
problem.
whole, whose responsibility, how
Yeah.
far in was it?
Yeah, and are they gonna be finished before the next big event where there's even more people on?
That's a
Yeah.
great question.
So we
If
should get
that's
on, we
happened
should get
before where
on.
they
this.
start ripping up the sidewalk and it's a week before open house.
You didn't know that Gore was gonna be ripped up for Jazz Fest?
Yeah.
No, that sidewalk for Holiday Open House, somebody did fall,
Yeah.
somebody did.
I thought they did.
Did they ever pursue the city? Do we even know? Cause she said she was, so it's.
I just want to be clear about how many lawsuits we have. I can't keep all those straight in my head, so. yeah.
Oh my
They're constant. I mean, Dewey's Pizza has 3 active sidewalk trips right now.
Mm.
That's in your district. Give you a sense. 3 active cases.
Pick up your feet.
Or how many times we shave it out and, so I mean, if someone
Oh, it's
falls,
one of
if someone
these.
falls, they sue us even
One
if
of
it's
these when
not.
they're walking.
Mhm.
Well, then you can't sit like
Okay.
Joe.
Don't shoot me this. Joe, this is recorded for everyone to know.
You go.
I come on the driveway,
Oh,
chasing the dog.
yeah, that's. To the dog. Yeah, to the dog. Get rid of the dog.
Okay, BDC update.
I was not there last week. That's about.
I had
one.
Happy to give you a BDC update real quick. BDC has looked at survey and such. There's been $100,000 put of ARP, the federal money, aside for business development fund. And the first project they've concentrated on is a thing called workinwebstergroves.com, which is going to be a free city job board for any Webster Grove business. So you just send your posting. So the boutique is looking for a cashier, right? You can post there, right? Now, it's just like Indeed, but the point being is the city is going to put a marketing plan together and market that workinwebstergroves.com to a broader audience, right? To drive people in. So free to the business owners, free to an agency looking for volunteers, free posting, the city will be advertising that as a free resource for any entity in Webster Groves.
When's it start?
Provided you paid your business license. It's technically up right now. No business has put anything up there because we haven't told them to put anything up there. We've been beta testing to make sure it survives hits and multiple hits. So the IT says it has survived. It's on the city website. So even though it's workinwebstergroves.com, it just goes right to the city website.
What about volunteer for jazz?
Absolutely, same thing. Yep. So it's not meant to get the city in the middle of your hire. So like that link you guys have, we would put that posting up there and send people to that link. So they would go right back to your site. So Ron, if you want people to email your job would be email Ron at,
Right.
so there's a form then that you all can fill up. Costs you nothing, comes into us. We admin to make sure we don't end up with bad postings and such like that. And the backside of staff and put it up. So.
I have a question for BDC.
Yes.
If we wanted to go after that QR code with all the businesses, like the listing.
A business listing?
Yeah, can you bring that to BDC?
Well,
Like,
we have a
you know-
business list.
I know, but I was thinking, and since we're,
If you want a QR code, we can build one in a heartbeat.
yeah, they can go on window clings. Can you bring that?
What do you want exactly?
So since we're so far behind on the kiosk.
Mhm.
I was thinking that if we could get a QR code that's a window cling to put in each business window or just throughout town that has a business directory.
It has this,
That has this, but this is just trade association.
right?
I mean, it gives them the map of all of Webster with all the business.
So it's linking to this. Let's just
Yeah,
bring it
it basically, I think what you're trying to say is it would be like a kiosk on your phone.
Yeah.
Basically, all of a sudden you
Yeah.
take a picture of this and there's all the businesses.
Opens up to a directory or a map. of
Right.
business.
Yeah.
Super helpful, because we're always drawing,
Yeah, lines,
yeah.
like at least a map on there, you know, but I do think that needs to be a BDC thing because it's
Mhm.
Webster as a whole,
Mhm.
so I can't do much, you know.
1 minute.
Or we've got the business districts on it. Well, we can figure that out. So, okay,
Mhm.
bring that up. Sorry, I'll get back to the meeting so you can all see everyone else. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that shouldn't be difficult at all.
Mhm. And then you guys can print them
Yeah.
out and distribute from City Hall and.
Great idea.
Good times.
Great times.
Okay, that's it for BDC.
That's it.
Okay, city update.
City update, I'll get to Councilmember Smith in just a second. Let me share real quick here. Share screen, come on, work with me. Couple things, the business license, where's business license at? Go away. Right there. There's your business license report. This was June, July is coming out here shortly, but we did have Edward Jones opened up a new business license in Old Webster, so that's part of it. This is on our website, so I'll have July posted and we'll make sure you all see that as well. And then closed businesses are down here. We did have been doing audits of business licenses as we've talked about and such. We're going to be sending about 160 letters out, not people that haven't paid, but some of them may have been closed. And just never told us. We ask people to tell us, but oftentimes, so they just end up pending, waiting on them to pay or let us know. So you may, if your fellow businesses are like, why did I get this letter from the city? We're just going through updating, making sure we're up to date. And so as we look at improving our processes and systems. I did want to point out, I'm going to go to, I think this is the map. We've gotten some questions. I made sure Ron was copied on this about this question of old, well, really what we had worked with in what was called the Douglas Hill proposed development, but really questions here about Pacific. This is Sherman and this little section of city streets called Lincoln, which is in the district. About, what are we doing for improvements, streetscape and such? And obviously North Gore does have banners and has, been part of the streetscape improvement. And historically Pacific has just simply not been an improved street, right? It's been very industrial. The question is really coming back here from Webster Window and Door and the backside of these properties. There's many different things going on here. I know some of these properties in this area have asked, are talking to council members about potentially rezoning their property. Which the district doesn't need to worry about. It's not going to change the district boundaries. But the point being is I just wanted to bring up that we've had some of those inquiries like, and not wrongly, but a bit accusatory, like, does the city really care about this, the north part of the tracks? And certainly we do. It has just not been a walkable retail space, right? Really you turn down that piece of Pacific and it's a whole different neighborhood feel than right along Gore. So just want to bring it up so you're aware of that, so that the businesses are obviously looking at, what's development, what does infrastructure look like? And then Webster U has sold their big piece here, which sort of runs a road on, this is the old the apartment building, but this big warehouse here to a brewery, a microbrewery of type. So it's not going to have on-site service, I believe, but there are, we're anticipating seeing some more traffic hitting Pacific, not necessarily foot traffic, but just, some more volume. in traffic. It's a microbrew, I don't know, off the top of my head.
Did they fill out their business license yet?
They're
Not sure.
ex-AB guys,
Yeah.
They're ex-AB guys?
ex-AB
Hmm.
guys. that are-
So it's a new brewery?
New brand.
No, I don't think it is. I think this is the
I
second.
think it's an
location.
it's established brand, if I'm correct. I just don't know. So the property has been sold. So that should become, the point is that'll be coming back into the taxable part of the district. So
Yeah,
That's good.
Why
This is exciting. Tell me more.
Let me add, can I add something there, please? I think West Pacific looks terrible from a maintenance standpoint. I think part of it's Union Pacific right away.
Totally is horrible. I drove it. And it is Union Pacific. That whole.
I think it is UP. I'm not sure it's the city that.
no,
that's been-
that's all UP. So everything, when you drive West Pacific, the south side closest to the tracks,
Yeah.
from the track all the way to the roadside is all
If you
UP.
guys go out there and drive over there, it's absolutely terrible.
I drive it a lot.
So,
It's
so do
horrible.
we get to the UP? Do we?
Well, I mean,
reach out to them and
we
say,
reach out, but there's literally, it
Aren't there city codes?
doesn't matter. Their federal charter preempts all the city codes. That's the joy of having a congressional land grant. So.
Well, I think it starts with the UP property, but it also goes over to the sidewalk on the other side of West Pacific. That it hasn't been maintained well. And I think that it would, to encourage that area to invest more and maybe people like the brewery, more people like that coming and investing in those buildings. I think it has to look inviting as a retail, as a walkable area. So I would encourage the city or this group to encourage the city to maintain that as well as it does on the other side of the tracks for us. Because I think it is coordinated, it is part of our district. And
I don't disagree with that, but I will say in the city's defense that it has just, I mean, it's just been industrial forever. I mean, it wasn't until the Douglas Hill development that anybody did anything with any of their property, nothing. They didn't touch it.
It's because the redevelopment loomed. It's been designated as redevelopment.
Right.
So people were afraid to put money in and then have it.
Well,
taken
like
away.
the apartment building on a corner looked like garbage forever until they were about to be, taken over.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they made a new sign, they
sold-
did all
they
this
sold
land. I mean, I think now it looks nice,
They're new owners.
Okay, all
It
right.
Sold in the last year.
Okay, all right. That's good. Well, if
Well,
that,
so yes, there has not been any intent from the city, I mean, certainly, to make that place a retail center, right? I mean, you turn off on Pacific, it's never been the city's intent, right? So now that if businesses are looking at that, certainly we will do that, but it's not been, what I'm saying is historically, it's not been the plan. No different than, I mean, you look at Sherman and Lincoln right here, this little street, technically city streets that go back to, I mean, that's a retail business now, Webster Window and Door, but these have just been industrial lots. And it's been essentially gravel,
Yeah,
asphalt.
that is a gravel road,
Oh, yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not
You don't
even a
even realize
developed
it's a road.
road.
Yeah, you
And
don't
it-
even realize.
is
it's around.
Enclave Roofing, is that right there, right next to Webster?
I believe so, yes. And so technically, like this lot right here, the city owns this, and then you've got school district and then Webster over here and gym center, so.
Right.
Yeah. So we have asked, and our team is going to clean up parts in the right of way that are ours, and
Right.
do some cleanup. But again, this is a whole intentional conversation about what do we, how much do we invest in that area, right?
Right.
And what do the property owners want to do? I mean, if we're gonna keep the same infrastructure, what is the right mix of that zone and how does it go?
Well,
This
is
is-
there sidewalks in
There is a
the
sidewalk on
Pacific
Pacific.
all the way down?
I believe,
I thought it was kind of
I
choppy.
can't remember.
I think it does. Go over.
I think it does.
But I think I would just suggest maintenance, not improvement, but just maintaining weed control and. Where am I going here? I think you'll find that investment will go to that area if it's maintained and looks attractive.
Now, but what are you ever gonna do with Union Pacific? I mean,
Yeah,
you're not- I mean, they're never gonna
I mean,
maintain that. They
the-
never have.
The city has experienced in trying to clean up that before and actually struck
trouble.
something and got in trouble with the railroad.
Right.
Became liable for replacing a railroad. It wasn't a big deal, but I mean, the point being is the general rule with railroad right away is you don't touch it.
Yeah.
You just, so hence, I mean, all the way up and down the railroad right of ways, you'll see plenty of ties and everything just laying all over.
Oh, no,
because-
Well,
This-
also, I mean, just imagine the chemicals, you don't want to mess with something that close to the railroad.
Well, the problem is just the weeds.
It's,
And the weeds are 5 feet
They're
high
trees, they're
all
trees.
around. I mean, and they fall over into the road.
And fencing be put up?
That would be at Union Pacific's discretion, so.
So yeah, see,
Yeah, red
that would be
line.
beautiful if it looks like that.
Right, it doesn't look
doesn't
like
look
that.
anything
It's
like
hanging over the street. If you go, this is now a backyard for Rolling Ridge, I believe, as we go through it. The big concern we have, as we looked at it, obviously, is you get up right in there, there's a drain. And mud has gotten after the flood in that drain area there, so we're cleaning that out. But this pole here, these bushes have grown up. I mean, this is May of 19 and it is
Right.
Yeah, but this is city. We can we can
This side.
fix this side.
this,
Yeah.
we can work on this side, yes,
Yeah.
but there are also, what do we do with other properties? So I mean, like, this is not our property. I mean, we have a right of way sidewalk, but this is now a masonry yard and such, masonry yard. So,
I think that's temporary.
But I could definitely see why some of these, like this area, we would never let something like this happen in Old Webster, I mean, in downtown. you
Yeah,
know?
That's a good point. That's,
And so that's, I think, put this aside, the stuff that we can fix, it's still not fair to the businesses if they want to be part of the
We don't,
district.
like grass insets like that, we
Yeah.
have not. In your areas, we have filled those in with brick,
Right,
right, but on the homeowner would be a homeowner's responsibility,
right,
so.
So they have,
Property owner's
or
responsibility.
property owner has to mow it.
Yes,
right.
so this is not the city who would maintain that and make that look good.
But that's part of our business district, right? Or
That's,
no?
yes, but
Yeah.
if we took some brick out of your sidewalk, we'd expect you in front of your building to maintain your open space that's not sidewalk.
That is
That's property
growing
owner's
grass.
responsibility. Yeah, it's not the city's responsibility.
well, maybe we can encourage Rolling Ridge to do something attractive there since they're in that business.
Sure, I mean, oh, yeah.
But it might start with the city
Yeah.
dedicating a little more resources to the maintenance of the rest of it. It might be that people aren't maintaining it because the rest of it doesn't look good. Well, why worry about it?
Sure.
And then working with you, Union Pacific, because I think that side's disgraceful.
Brendan around.
Well, I mean, it's what I say with,
Anybody?
what I said, the train station, down Big Bend. I mean, they just use that for literally, all their ties and all their, they stack everything up, and I mean. They've got the $1 for 100 years or whatever it
Yeah.
is lease on that thing. I mean, that's just, it's horrible over there.
One more thing about this too, is people come up Gore, North Gore,
Yeah.
into above the tracks and over to the other side.
Yeah.
That's an entry. I mean,
Right.
that's what you see as you're coming up the hill.
Well, and we have done streetscape improvement on Gore. I mean, there are banners now and such
But
down this way.
turn around to that other side where the railroad track is, and that's what you see, is
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
If that area could be planted,
Right.
it's just a little bit of color there would go a long way. That's our entry. That's what people see.
I get it.
But it is the railroad, right?
I know.
Yeah, so that's like, you
But-
also just have to throw wildflowers. Seeds.
And just so you all know, as you think about Old Webster and the business district, I wasn't here, but I just want to point out. Those north of the tracks pay a little bit less than the rest of you south. of the tracks. So
Right.
their business
Bury
license
the
is
line
less, so
back
it's not a,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that they don't deserve
Right.
services from the business district, but I want to make sure everyone knows all the data that we have recognized from the beginning that they're going to have a less of an, I guess, a service
Budget.
level. Right, not, we've never distinguished a budget, but we've just simply said, your business pays 50% more to the business district, and your
Mhm.
business license, they pay 30% more, so. That's all I got on that city update.
Thank you.
But I will, Councilmember Smith is here. He's heard our great deliberations. He's gonna solve all those problems for us, so.
Well, I will tell you, I am pleased to hear talking about that section of Webster where we're going to do development. I think it does need some attention. What that attention will be, I think conversations will lead to some improvements in that area. So I know the subject matter is not dead, at least not with me, as far as trying to still develop that area in some way, some fashion. Just a quick update, so you know that the council is in its process of selecting the charter board. I think we have one more meeting of interviews in September. We've had, I believe, was it 30, Eric?
That's correct, yes, 30 out.
30 applicants, so we're going through those interviews and we're looking forward to get that process on board. And we're also revising how we appoint individuals or residents to the commissions and boards of the council of the city, so that it's not such a long process. So we're nearing that process. It should be something should roll out within the next 30 to 45 days. And the last item is that the council is starting a strategic planning process, although we've had some strategic planning late last year, Eric.
That's correct, yes.
Yep, late last year. So we're going to start that process again and hopefully put some strategic guidance to what we're going to be doing in the city in the near future. So look out for all those updates on the website. Anybody got any questions of me?
I want to say I appreciate you attending our meetings. We haven't always had the most, we don't always get the council members to show up for every meeting, and I appreciate you being here. So.
Oh, no problem. And also feel free to any, I get the agendas and things of that nature, and I share with the council things I feel that needs to be shared. But if there's something that you want to bring to the council's attention specifically, feel free to give me a call so we can go over the details and make it a point of information for the council.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Just real quick, Ron, Officer Razul, anything from your shop?
I don't have anything.
Nothing?
From the police department's perspective, everything's good, so, right?
I'll let you know when it gets bad.
Okay, all right, next meeting is gonna be on September 27th. November and December,
Yes, November and December. So I just wanted to look through the calendar. Your meeting in December is going to be right in the middle of Christmas week, which I
typically
assume,
never.
that's what I wanted to make
Right,
sure.
we
So
don't ever have that.
when you see calendars for me, I often put them on every month and then
Right.
y'all can tell me which ones you want off. But I wanted to talk about November. It's going to be the week of Thanksgiving. Do you want to be on that week or do you want to be a week ahead?
A
What do
week
you-
ahead. I do
I don't
not
know
want
what-
to be doing a meeting the week of Thanksgiving.
So last year we did it, the
Uh-huh.
week of Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to bring it up before we got.
Doesn't make it the week of.
Or
Holiday
open
walk,
house, yeah.
you'd rather do it that week?
I personally, I won't be at that meeting if it's the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But not that just me.
Right, if you,
so
yeah, I mean.
You guys do you.
Right, I'm inclined to keep it. Week of Thanksgiving, I'm working my butt off, so it doesn't. I'm busy, but it's not. Just gotta get here.
I'm fine either way.
You either make it next week or you make it a week later.
Kids are home. And it's too hard to start first.
No, it would be.
Kids are
Maybe
home.
the 29th.
Yeah, the week of Thanksgiving, that Tuesday,
Oh, they're.
they're not at school.
Really?
Mine won't be, mine's a pre-K, so,
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, I don't know.
and actually, I think we do get out of school on Tuesday, don't they?
Yeah, there's 29. There's
Turkey Day
5
week.
Tuesdays that
Or
week,
Mary Keenan.
Yeah.
We always.
so we could push it back a week.
It's fine. I just wanted to bring it up before so we can all get the calendar set.
I appreciate it, thanks.
It's
I went there.
not money.
All right, so 29th. Does anyone have a problem with that? Okay, we'll move it to the 29th. Stacy, you better be there.
Well, yeah, I might be in Seattle, but I'll zoom in.
Good thing you're on that end of the table. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. All right, meeting's adjourned.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.